You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey GH fans, I've got your early edition spoilers for November 25th through the 29th. Molly is horrified. Lucky is boxed in, and there are preemptions for Thanksgiving to talk about. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you are not following us, please click that subscribe button. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week to get you set up for the action for next week. So on Wednesday, November 20th, we have got Portia calling to notify that the autopsy report on Sam is in. Meanwhile, Dante and Christina want justice. I'm assuming it is for Sam. And they have a talk back at his and Sam's place where Dante is telling Christina that Sam took the risk of the surgery because of him. And I'm very interested in what the report is going to say. Molly is telling someone that's not an option, and she is revealing what Rick's strategy is for Ava's case. As it turns out, it looks like he is going to subpoena Molly and put her on the stand for the defense as a witness for the defense on Ava's behalf, which basically means she would be testifying about Christina. Very interesting. Alexis makes a vow on Wednesday, and I'm certain she is going to try and shut down what Rick is trying to do, but I doubt there's much that she will be able to do to stop him. Jason and Danny have a very heartfelt talk, but when he asks his dad about what happened between him and Drew, Jason is very clear and says what happened between me and Drew is going to stay between us. But if you remember, Rocco overheard that it was a fight. So I am quite certain he will report back to Danny, and the boys are going to put two and two together. And I just wonder if they're going to keep it between them or if they are going to loop Scout in on this because she was part of the initial conversation. Elizabeth gets news that alarms her, and it could be about the autopsy or it could be something about Lulu I'll get to in just a second. But Liz and Lucky have a talk after the funeral, and she's boxing him in. She is not going to let him off the hook and tells him he has to make a decision. Basically, it is go or stay. It is not waffle around. It is not lead Aiden on with, you teasing him you might stay and be a dad and then flaking out. The good news is Aiden seems to have extremely low expectations for his father, which is a good place for those expectations to be. At the very end of Tuesday's episode, we all saw Lulu Spencer open her eyes, and then on Wednesday, her crazy Uncle Cyrus is at her hospital bedside, and he's telling her he's going to take care of her. Now, that could be a threat, or it could be some twisted promise to protect her after almost killing her with that bomb blast. And I still suspect he tampered with her machine. I think he thought that her case was hopeless and he was, releasing her to cross, to go to the light. I think he thought he was doing her and Laura a favor. I don't have a very high opinion of him. Thursday, November 21st, we have got Dante thinking about what his next move should be. Of course, Lulu is awake and he's living in Sam's apartment that people have been debating who owns it. I seem to remember one of the several many times that Jason has died that at some point he left it to Sam, and I don't think he would have ever taken ownership back when he came back from the dead. I feel like Sam owns it, but she probably left it to Dante in her will, and Alexis does have her will. Kai surprises Trina, and there is a photo of them I've seen at Bobby's together, and it looks like study materials out on the table. So this romance is on a slow burn. Right now it's like ice cold. Like we have to wait for the ice cubes to melt, and then it's going to start warming up to a slow burn. But he's very cute, and I'm very excited about this. Jason is quite adamant about something, and I'm sure it's Willow and Drew drama and the impact on the kids. And Michael opens up to Sasha and confides in her. I feel like Michael's going to tell her that Willow and Drew shagged. And I think he should, because I don't want her feeling guilty for one more day, because she shouldn't, because, what they did was a drunken mistake done in heartbreak. What Willow and Drew did together was something they had been on track to do for quite a while, and they were just looking for an excuse to do it. Christina has a thank you for Jocelyn on Thursday. Going into Friday, November 22nd, Stella is there to encourage TJ. Gosh, that could cover a gamut. You know, he's worried about the trial, about Molly's grief, still dealing with his own grief, about baby Irene that Christina insists on calling Adela. Jason needs some advice from Dante. I'm guessing it is dad advice because Dante's certainly a better dad than Jason. Mac and Felicia are there for Sasha, and I wonder if she's going to get a Thanksgiving invite to the Scorpios. Seems like she should definitely have that day off since the Q's Thanksgivings always go up in flames, sometimes literally. Molly has bad news for Christina, and I think she's going to tell her that she has been called as a witness for the defense, and Christina is obviously going to feel betrayed. Meanwhile, Ava is anxious as this week ends because her trial is coming soon and she knows she's going to be crucified on the stand. Going into the week of November 25th through the 29th, I'm going to get to the preemptions info in just a moment. So with Sam's autopsy results, and of course, Lucas is terrified he made a mistake. Cyrus is back on the scene this week at Lulu's bedside, which I'm sure Laura will hate. And this is going to carry over into next week. If Lulu wakes up with him at her bedside, it's kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure she did not know Julian planted the bomb because she fell into the coma so quickly after the bombing. I don't think she knew who was responsible. And at that time, nobody knew that Cyrus was Laura's brother. It came out like just a couple of weeks after Lulu went into the coma. So that's her uncle that she doesn't know sitting at her bedside. And if he's the first one to see Lulu awake, I think Laura's going to freak out because she doesn't even want him there. Drew is fighting a battle with time. Word's going to spread that Willow was riding his baloney pony, and then it's going to get even messier because Carly and Sonny are going to come for him. Michael's still figuring out what to do, and the holidays are around the corner, and everybody's going to be sad or mad or something. And I am hoping Sasha's going to get a Scorpio Thanksgiving, and I'm also watching for signs of morning sickness because I'm personally cheering for a bun in the oven that drops like a Christmas miracle. Lulu is out of the hospital soon and over at the Q's to see her son and Tracy and catch up on 4 years of Port Charles news, including the death of her dad, Luke Spencer, and her aunt, Bobby Spencer. Sam's death is another factor for Lulu to cope with as she's tiptoeing around all the guilt falling off of Rocco and Dante that Sam died so she could live, even though they didn't know that was going to be how it went at the time. Sam's will reading will likely be the following week, which will also dip us closer to Ava's trial as well. And I wonder if Lucas is going to get an invite to Carly's for dinner, or if he and his aunt Ava might break bread since they're bonding now. I enjoy this, but you know, Carly's going to try and shut it down when she finds out. And I wonder if Lucky's going to dine with Laura or with Liz, or if Liz and Aiden are going to come over to Laura's where Lucky is staying. I think that could be really sweet. And we're going to have more angst for Molly with the trial closing in. Rick has named her as a witness, and I think it's going to be her speaking to Christina's volatile reaction over the subpoena and how she was acting before she went over to see Ava, that she had advised her not to go, things like that. And maybe even things about her planning to keep the baby. I don't even know how bad it could get, but I think Rick wants to use Molly to assassinate Christina's character, and Molly is going to be very upset about this. And there is a preemption for college football coverage on Friday, November 29th. And as of now, they are supposed to be airing a new episode on Thanksgiving Day. Last year, 2023, they did have a new Thanksgiving episode. For, 2022 and many years prior, they always did an encore episode. So we'll see. Keep an eye on your DVR on Thursday because they might drop an encore in and surprise us. We shall see, and you'll get a pretty good indication at the end of the episode on Wednesday if they give us that next week on rather than next time on promo at the end of the episode. But if I find out anything sooner, I will definitely let you know.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.